how to be a truly valuable woman. Ladies and gentlemen, sisters and daughters, let me start with a simple truth. You were never meant to make yourself smaller to fit into someone else's world. You were born to rise, to take space, to be powerful. Being a valuable woman has nothing to do with being liked by everyone. It's not about your body shape, the softness of your voice, or the way you move. No, being valuable is about how boldly and bravely you show up for yourself and for others. A valuable woman understands that her value is not based on whether someone approves of her or not. She doesn't wait for the mirror to tell her she is beautiful. She doesn't wait for others to recognize her. She walks in and her presence leaves an imprint. The ground remembers her steps. Let me speak honestly. Life won't always applaud you. There will be places where people try to quiet your voice. Some will misunderstand your kindness, thinking it means weakness. Others will see your confidence and call it pride. Let them think what they want. Because a valuable woman doesn't need to be accepted by everyone. She needs to be true to herself. If you want to be valuable, then learn to stand tall even when you're standing alone. Feed your mind with good books. Learn new things. Say no when your heart tells you it's the right thing to do. Say yes only when it truly means something. Passion isn't about being perfect, it's about living with purpose. And purpose isn't only what you do with your hands, it's who you become deep within your soul. Be someone who uplifts other women. Be someone who speaks truth with kindness and listens with care. Be someone who brings peace, not just to others, but also to her own heart. And sweet girl, don't mix up noise with value. The loudest one in the room isn't always the most powerful. Sometimes the strongest woman is the one who knows that her silence holds power. Remember this, when you leave your house, you are not just something to be looked at. You are a statement, a declaration. Declare yourself brave. Declare yourself worthy. Declare yourself whole, whether or not anyone else agrees with you. The world will eventually have to rise to meet her, the woman who knows her worth. A woman who sees her value doesn't need someone else to tell her she's enough. She doesn't live for claps or praise. She doesn't stand in front of the mirror hoping someone tells her she's valuable. Her worth isn't based on opinions. It was written deep in her being the moment she was born. And when she finally understands that, everything starts to change. Because when a woman learns how to value herself, she becomes powerful. Not in a loud or harsh way, but in a steady, quiet, certain way. She becomes unshakable. The kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, but still gets noticed. The kind of self-belief that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, yet earns respect wherever she goes. Too many women are taught from childhood to look outside themselves for value, to wait for someone else to say they're good enough, to be noticed, be told they're okay, be nice, be quiet, be perfect, and even when they do everything right, someone still says it's not enough. Not smart enough, not thin enough, not soft enough, not ambitious enough, or maybe too ambitious. That's a trap. If you live your life trying to please everyone, you will always feel tired. You'll never feel like you've arrived. But the valuable woman lives differently. She writes her own story. She wakes up each day and doesn't ask the world to define her. Knowing who you are is not pride, it's freedom. Freedom to enter a room without shrinking. Freedom to sit at the table without apologizing for being there. Freedom to wear what makes you happy, speak your truth, and live a life that feels right in your heart, even if no one else sees it. Real self-worth isn't loud. It doesn't always look like confidence on the outside. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's in how you set boundaries, in how you protect your peace, in how you rest without guilt, in how you look at yourself in the mirror, not with shame, but with understanding. You know what it took to become who you are. You remember the storms you survived, the nights you cried and still got up in the morning, the moments you kept loving yourself when it would be easier to give up. And when life tries to shake that, because it will, you don't fall apart. Not because you are hard like stone, but because you have built strength from within. You don't chase applause, so silence doesn't bother you. You don't need approval, so rejection doesn't break you. You've seen yourself in the dark and still chose to believe you are worthy. That is what true value looks like. Real worth isn't about being flawless, it's about being fully present. Being present with your imperfections, your gifts, your story, and still choosing to love yourself. A valuable woman doesn't wait to be perfect before she loves herself. She accepts herself while she grows. That's why she glows. That's why others feel something special when she enters the room. She doesn't need to be seen because she already sees herself clearly. And when a woman sees herself through the eyes of love and truth, she becomes unstoppable. She becomes a mirror for others. When she owns her value, she gives quiet permission to other women to own theirs too. This world doesn't need more women who try to appear perfect. It needs more women who are grounded, who know their value and don't have to prove anything to anyone. Because at the end of it all, beauty fades, attention fades, achievements fade, but your honesty, your kindness, your courage, those are eternal. That is the kind of value that never dies. It lives on in people's hearts long after you leave the room. So don't wait. Don't wait for someone to tell you that you matter. Don't wait for the award, the position, the praise, or the partner. You matter now. Tell yourself now, accept it now, walk in it now. Your worth was never something to fight for. It was always yours from the beginning. She enters a room and doesn't look around to see if she fits in. She doesn't wonder if she's too much or not enough. She doesn't make herself smaller so others can handle her better. She has learned the beauty of just being herself, not who the world expects her to be, but who she really is. And that, my friends, is what makes a woman powerful. A woman who embraces her real self. A woman who doesn't hide her truth. A woman who no longer apologizes for being who she is. Not because she thinks she's above others, but because she's tired of pretending. Because she knows fake love, fake smiles, fake confidence, they all cost too much, and they never last. So she chooses honesty, she chooses presence. She chooses to be real, even when it's hard. Even when it means walking away from people or places that once felt safe. Let's be real. Being authentic isn't always easy. People won't always like it. You might be called difficult, too emotional, too strong, too independent, too much. People may misunderstand you. They might question you. They might tell you directly or indirectly that you should change to be accepted more easily, that you should be quieter, softer, smaller. But the valuable woman knows better. She doesn't live to fit in. She lives to be true. A woman understands that comfort isn't her main purpose, it's integrity. And that means saying no when every part of her wants to say no. That means choosing peace instead of popularity. That means knowing the right people will never ask her to make herself smaller. There's a deep kind of power in a woman who can say no without feeling bad, who can let others down to stay honest with herself, who can sit in the middle of noise and still hear her own voice. She doesn't turn her back on her truth just to avoid conflict. She knows that peace that costs her truth is just a quiet battle inside, and she's tired of fighting herself. She doesn't feel the need to explain herself every time she makes a different choice. She's done chasing approval. Maybe there was a time when she did, a time when she bent over backward, trying to become who others wanted her to be, a time when she dressed, smiled, and spoke in ways she thought would help her fit in. But she's grown past that, and now her journey back to her real self has become her silent revolution. When a woman decides to stop performing and start truly living, she becomes magnetic. People might not always understand her, but they sense something in her. There's a rare kind of calm in her presence, a steady energy, because she's no longer waiting for others to define her.